All right, bro. We're rolling.
All righty. So I look at you, look at the camera.
I'd say just talk to me.
Just talk to you?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
All right, man. I'm doing this thing. Dude, so this is first timer for me.
Yeah.
You ever
Same
been on
here.
a podcast before?
I did a virtual one once.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was with, what was it? I think it was Roofing Success Podcast.
Okay.
So that was a cool one. But that was like, I was on the computer and then they kind of did it like that, which is really cool. But yeah, never like in-person one. Yeah.
That's what's up. Well,
Yeah.
This is a little bit impromptu that we're doing. I'd say you can look at that one. But, dude, I just wanted to really just pick your brain.
Sure.
I think the focus of my podcasts is really going to be like for business owners or entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Like, and I know there's a ton of them out there, but who knows? Somebody might see this and be like, this is the thing I needed. So, you know, it could be. So, for sure, let's dive in, man.
Yeah. Whatever you got, man. I'm glad to share.
Absolutely, bro.
Nothing's off limits.
So, talk to me and tell me a little bit about like your journey as an entrepreneur, because nobody just, or maybe some people, they do start just like, I'm going to do my own business all the time.
Yeah.
And maybe, of course, there's like inklings, but you know, nobody just gets right into it, or at least not everybody. How did you start in this journey?
Yeah, for me, man, I was working at another roofing company. I really loved what I was doing there. Just had a little bit of problem with integrity, just how they were doing things, and you know, I was told to do things, and I was like, man, I just can't sleep at night knowing I did those things or being told to do those things. So that kind of ran something difficult within me. But I remember using it as a stepping stone. So every day I just remember just saying, hey, you know, I'm going to put my best foot forward. I'm going to do everything I possibly can. And when they ask me to do those things, I'm not going to do it. Yeah. And that ended up being the result of why I was fired, which is cool.
So you were fired from that job?
I was fired
because
from that
they asked
job.
you to do something that...
Yeah. I said, I'm not going to do it, but you can do it. The guy did it. He got in trouble for it and then tried to blame me for it. So then I was like, that's a whole nother crazy story. But anyway, so that kind of started it. And then I started in the light roofing. So I was driving around the corner from being fired. I called my girlfriend at the time, which is now my wife.
Wow.
And I tell her, I said, you know, babe, just got fired from a job. She's like, oh my gosh, like, what are you going to do? And I'm like, I don't know, but I'm going to start this company. I'm going to call it In the Light Contracting. Yeah. And I just like, it was like while I was driving around the corner, I remember just like feeling from God, like, hey, I want you to start a company. Yeah. So I just grabbed that by the balls and I was like, let's do this. Yeah. So started out then mainly just doing literally anything I could get my hands on. Yeah. Like if someone needed work done, I'd try to figure it out, go on YouTube or just try to learn it, or just hustled and just did like labor stuff. Worked for a couple other people, just like more of a day labor kind of a thing. And then just job after job, like ended up actually creating the company, LLC and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But from there, I mean, I would do a job. So
you started off doing a lot of the work yourself.
100%, everything. So for probably about three years, I was doing all the work.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
And that's not a glamorous, like this is not a glamorous industry.
For me, man, I enjoyed it. Like it wasn't like, oh dude, like, you know, I got to work 12, 16-hour days. Like I was younger. So like, I enjoyed it. I found it to be extremely satisfying, fulfilling. But pretty much what I would do to kind of grow the company is I would do a job, buy an impact gun, do another job, buy a ladder, did a job, buy a ladder rack. Wow. You know, it's just like kind of like you're building that up. Yeah. And then, you know, I always had the mindset of really staying within my means. So I never try to get too big or get too flashy. I just said, hey, this is what I can afford. This is what I can do. Wow. And, you know, it takes time. You know what I mean? Nobody does it right off the rip like that unless, you know, they have something behind them. I didn't really have the
like somebody backing you.
Yeah, I didn't really have the financial means. I mean, I had God. So I think that was the biggest thing that I had and needed at the time was really just his blessing over me.
So you had faith and you had a dream, essentially.
Yeah, and I didn't even really know what kind of dream I had. I just knew that like I was determined to make it. Wow. So it wasn't like, oh man, like this is where I'm at now is super cool, but I never thought in a million years I'd be where I'm at now. Yeah. Not at all. So God's providence, you know?
Wow, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you've taken and transitioned quite a few things, you know, from being an employee and then an almost immediate shift to like, dude, I don't want to do that anymore. I'm going to do my own thing.
Yep.
And kind of like, God, like, it's me and you on this kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's a rocky road. It's challenging, but man, I think the road and the hustle and the grind is like the coolest part of it.
Absolutely.
Eventually, I'll get to like some really cool point, and then I'll be like, "What's next?"
Yeah.
But for right now, I'm just hustling,
You're in a good
grinding
place.
every single day. I wake up every single day in the morning, just like, let's go.
Yeah.
Like I'm pumped up. So it's fun to just come in here with the team and
Yeah.
really just brainstorm together and be out.
This is your office, so
Yeah, and be out there with production.
Yeah.
I find myself oftentimes, you know, doing what I got to do here.
Yeah.
And I'm going out onto the roof because
Yeah.
I love it. I love the hustle of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Now, a couple things like one, how long have you been in business now?
Yeah, so we're going on our 7th year.
Okay, 7th year in business. So for the first 3 years of business, you were pounding pavement with the team, and you were
100%.
you were making it happen.
Yep. I basically learned that there's a whole business side of it other than, you know, just being inside the business every single day.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it really just came down to a point where I was just evaluating some things. I was like, man, I really have something special here. How can I grow this?
Yeah.
How can I build this out and scale it into like me not having to do every little thing?
Yeah.
Not that I have a problem with it. I actually enjoy it. But you know, you ever hear that you get hit by a bus, what happens to your company or what happens to your family?
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure if I ever got hit by a bus, I'm not there yet, but I'm working towards that. I don't necessarily need to
Still sustainable.
be in every little part of the business to have it function
Wow.
and provide for my family. So that was one of the things where I was like, hey, let me grow this thing, let me scale it up so that I can be a good steward. So that's one of our core values is stewardship. So I felt like that was, as I level up, what I've been entrusted I need to take care of it better.
Yeah.
So
Represented.
yeah.
That's awesome, man. And like, tell me about the name of the company, In the Light Roofing. I mean, it kind of speaks for itself, but give me some context.
Yeah. So as far as the company name, it's staying in the light. You know, the Bible talks a lot about different things of I don't know. The Bible's littered with like that phrase. So like I said, when I was driving around the corner, that was something that like I felt like in my spirit, like that was the name.
It hit you.
That hit me. So it was In the Light Contracting, and then we transferred to In the Light Roofing as our DBA, because now we only specialize in roofing, whereas before we would do, you know, gutters and siding and all that kind of stuff. So we still kind of do that stuff to help people out, but our main focus is roofing.
Wow.
Anything roofing related. We want to be the go-to guys to get that squared away.
Absolutely. And, you know, what do you being a business owner, what are things that you have to look out for, or that you would recommend to somebody? Like, this is not something that everybody thinks about, but it needs to be on the forefront of your mind as a business owner.
Yeah. Like you're saying, like for someone maybe starting out or just kind of getting in there, don't compare. Like, don't compare yourselves to like the bigger companies, and don't compare like, oh, this guy's got an equipter or this guy has a wrap truck. Like, you know, you got to just kind of take it a step at a time, and you'll get there. Like, you know, I've been in business for going on 7 years now. So what you see now is, you ever see that little thing on Instagram? It's like a little ice cube in the ocean, and then there's like this huge, massive glacier.
Yeah.
There's a lot there, and you're only seeing like the good part of it. So that's what I would say is like mainly focus on just hustling, keep grinding, keep your head down, have integrity. Those moments of
we got some stuff in the background, but it's okay. We're still going.
Yeah, there's some different moments where you're going to be faced with integrity, like having integrity. And I believe God blesses those moments of, hey, I can take the shortcut, or you know, I can take advantage of this homeowner, or do I really have to, kind of thing. You just got to do it, because that's your commitment. And it really comes down to your core values. So eventually, you know, someone either has or needs to make core values, And that's going to be the things that you're going to drive off of. So you're going to have to hire off of those. You're going to have to fire off of those.
Are those important things to hire and fire off of?
Yeah. I mean, we try to operate every single day. I'll be honest. I mean, they're there because I don't do them every day. So
that's good.
Yeah. So we have them around the office and stuff because we want to make sure it's one of those things that
constantly in front of you.
Yeah, be reminded of it. I mean, how like teamwork. Are you always being a good team member? Having enthusiasm in what you're doing. Sometimes you come in here, it's cold, it's rainy.
Yeah.
You're the first one in. That enthusiasm's probably not there. So to be reminded of it as your core values, to say, hey, no, I need to operate within this. Just as a Christian, there's often times where I don't want to do the things that the Bible tells me to do, but I do it not based upon my feelings, but what my motivation is. Hey, I want to honor God. So it really doesn't matter what I feel like doing.
Sure.
It's a matter of like my commitment.
Yeah. Your convictions and what you believe. Absolutely. So I know now we're getting into, like, you've mentioned, like, being a Christian, that being a core value, a core part of your company.
Yep.
Like, why is that so important to you? Like, in integrating, your beliefs into your company, do you feel like that can translate to your customers or impact the community around you?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I feel like it's more of a lifestyle for me. I don't think I can separate the two and be like, hey, I'm a Christian, but I'm not a Christian in the business. So like, I'm a Christian outside and I'm a Christian in here. By no means do I say I'm an amazing, great Christian and I don't curse and bad thing, like I don't do bad things, but I really try to operate in a way of as much of the time as possible that I want to do those right things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Are you like, I'm trying to think of a couple things, but I know I got some stuff on my phone. I'm going to go grab it here in a sec. But what kind of things do you find important outside of the customer that really bring value to your business? And you feel like, man, if there's something like somebody needs to know, this is what's probably one of the most valuable pieces, like, or tools that you need as a business owner, because some people could be like, oh, it's marketing. Oh, it's the CRM. Oh, it's the XYZ. What did you find?
I think for me, I would say it's the team. You have to put your team in front of yourself all the time. So yourself comes last all the time. So making sure that the team is getting what they need, making sure that they're succeeding. If I have to work a little bit harder, prepare something a little bit more, at the end of the day, they're the ones that I want to make sure they succeed. Because I don't just think about myself and my family, I think about their families. So a lot of times, I'm telling the sales guys, hey, what's work look like for these guys in the next couple weeks? They got families too. I know you're good. I know your check's nice, but let's make sure our guys are taken care of. So I think I reverse engineer based off of how much are they working is how successful we are.
Not just affecting your bottom line, but now your team's bottom, like your subs, their families, the people that they. Yeah. Wow, that's huge, man.
Yep. So if they're good and they're happy and they're making their money, then I know that everyone's taken care of. So even if it's on the opposite, maybe one sales guy's crushing it and he's getting a ton of leads and he's just selling a lot. I'm thinking about that one guy that's not. So I think about it as like the Bible talks about like the 99 and the sheep and the shepherd is like, by no means do I think I'm like God or whatever like that. But like I want to think like that. I want to leave
as leaders.
Yeah, I want to leave the 99. I always want to go after that one. Make sure that one's good.
That's good. So I mean, I've been reading John Maxwell's 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. Great book, and I just read the Law of Connection, if I'm not mistaken, and it talks about the importance of being connected to your people and not just being some off, distant, benevolent leader that is just, hey, go sell stuff, and then never in touch with that, their employees, or they never talk to anybody.
Yeah.
So I see the importance of that, especially with your team. Like these guys you're a tight knit group. You know, even to the subs. Like that's, for me, that's what kind of blew my mind. Is like you connected with not just like the foreman.
Yep.
But all the other guys as well.
Yep. Yeah, I always want to make sure that I announce their name. So I'm say, hey, what's up, Martin? pat them on the back, say you're doing a good job.
Yeah.
You know, I want each person to feel special.
Yeah.
Because I know that that's not what it's like across the board. So I want to make sure that they remember working in the light roofing. They remember working for me, and that like that guy was a little different.
Yeah.
He was a little crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just think it's you know, thinking about other people.
Yeah.
And you know, making other people feel special.
Yeah.
So I think there's another quote. I don't know who said it, but it's like people will never forget how you made them feel. They may forget what you said or something. It's something like that. But it's like they may forget what you said, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. So I just try to make people feel special, make them feel important, and compliment like crazy.
Yeah.
You know?
That's awesome, dude. For real. And then how would you say, what kind of mental fortitude, like what kind of mental capacity do you have to have as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, stepping into a new business or stepping into a new venture? Because it's not like, hey, I'm going to go out and I'm going to crush it. And like, you know, I'm going to be a millionaire in 2 years. Like that, it's not likely what it's like.
Yeah. For me, I think my greatest strength, which makes me to be so successful, is I'm super driven. Whereas like I get like blinders on and I only think in one direction, and like that's what I'm gonna get done. Yeah. So like, you know, sometimes I need people around me to say, hey, we gotta like kind of think about some safety here, or think about like we gotta protect this person or something, because I'm like so determined when I set a goal. Yeah. It's like I'll run through a wall, I'll run through someone to get there. So I think for me, and maybe just someone out there, you got to be driven.
You got to drive, grit.
Yeah, you got to grind. You got to keep that hustle. I don't know. I was a former wrestler, so I take a lot of the things that I learned from high school and wrestling. Is like, you know, you're cutting weight, you're working out hard, and the results really like how you prepare yourself. So. Yeah. The coolest thing about wrestling is like it's just you and another dude, and it's like whoever worked the hardest,
it's gonna
show. So I think that was like something that I take from wrestling into being a business owner is like, you know, I don't really care what anybody else is doing. I want to make sure that my team and myself we're putting in the hours we're supposed to put. So even during the winter time, like a lot of roofing companies that kind of like tamper down, we actually ramp it up. So we're actually, I feel.
How do you do that?
Yeah, I feel like we're working harder in the winter time than we are in the summer, because the summer is just doing it, whereas the winters we're preparing, we're trying to improve the processes, you know, just get things in a better way. So yeah, the sales guys kind of know that like, yeah, they might not be running a ton of leads, but they might be doing a lot more office stuff to prepare. So, you know, doing trainings, you know, those kinds of things are going to be super important to make them really successful in the summertime. So then it's just muscle memory. They're just doing it. Yeah. You know, they're just running their appointments, selling their jobs, connecting with the homeowners. Yeah. And then as we get down towards like the fall and the winter, it's just like, okay, we're going to take a little bit of a chill period, but then we're going to ramp it back up in like January. Yeah. Where a lot of other guys were getting calls like, oh, you're the only roofing company that picked up. It's like, yeah, because we're ready to go.
Dang.
Yeah.
And do you feel like that's made you stand out as a business?
Yeah. I mean, just being there, present, and the homeowners don't care what time of the year it is. If they have a leak, they have a problem, they need to call a roofing company that's going to service them, not just because the next guy's on vacation.
Yeah. That's funny because, I mean, it does happen, especially in this industry, in the roofing industry specifically. Like, depending on where you are. So if you're in like Florida or something, more than likely you're working year round. You know, Florida, maybe lower part of Georgia, or even southern parts of the U.S., but northern parts of the country, wintertime hits and it's, let's close up the windows for a while. We're going to be back in 2 months.
Yeah. I always want to make sure that someone's answering the phone. And the ladies know that we shouldn't hear that phone ringing like multiple times. It should be like probably on the third ring. Yeah. Should be picking up that phone. If you haven't already, because we want them to be like, they called us and they got to us right away, not like thinking that someone else is more important than the next person calling. So that's why we have two ladies here. Yeah. And if one's not doing something, the next one's picking it up, or they're both on the phone.
Wow.
Yeah.
So talk to me about your crews, because you are really faithful to your team. I know you've mentioned that a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got a core group of guys. Why is that? And like, how did you find that team?
Yeah, I mean, dude, it really just comes down to just trying different subcontractors out, seeing what they got.
So you didn't just like go pick one and then stick with it?
No, I think it took us probably like 2 years to really find a crew that we were like totally like, hey, we can build on this. Um, so yeah, it just takes time to find them. I don't think you can. I think you got to just give people a shot and make sure you're on site and
Wow.
you know you're really checking the quality control, and then
Pause on that. Quality control. Like, talk to me about that.
yeah, just making sure that they understand, you know, we're ripping down to the wood decking, we're replacing wood,
Yeah.
we're prepping in the roof right, because a lot of crews they can lay shingles, and it looks good, but if they didn't do the prep work right, that's really where it comes down. So
Yeah.
I really like to look for the guys that are replacing the wood maybe a little bit extra, not like obsessive, but like, hey, that piece wasn't really that bad, but they replaced it anyways.
Yeah.
You know, they're doing their counter flashing nice, you know, they're doing the chimney work good. So the more the detail stuff, like, you know, when we tell them to remove the siding, to wrap the ice and water shield up the wall, you know, are they really doing it? Or
are you checking that, or is like, is that something the sales guys are checking in? How does that work for you?
Yeah, so there's multiple. So it's the project manager, and he's taking pictures, and then, you know, I'll periodically review them throughout the day because I'm a weirdo. I just like it.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily have to do that, but I do that anyways.
Yeah.
And then the sales guy goes back out and inspects the roof and does that because we know that not everyone's perfect, and sometimes things can get missed. So we want to make sure it's up to our standards because, you know, we know that we're not the cheapest company in the area. We're a little bit more expensive. We're not the, you know, crazy high.
Yeah.
But we know that.
Do you guys have Erie roofing out here?
We do, yeah.
1,200 a square for roofs.
Yeah, there's guys out here that are doing that. So we want to make sure, they could have gotten maybe this roof for a lower price, but why are they choosing us? They're choosing us because of the experience, the integrity, you know, to know if there is a leak or something that pops up, we're gonna be here to take care of it, and we're not gonna be like, you know, trying to blame someone else, or say it's the siding, or say it's a window when it's really the roof, or, you know, we hear that stuff all the time.
Yeah, you've definitely touched on that point about that stuck out to me at least, where you're inspecting what they're doing or what people are doing, and it's not for. I mean, I think it's great because it's not. We don't inspect things just because. Like if you're a leader, if you're a business owner, you inspect it because that's what you expect. And that's a quote I heard somewhere, you inspect what you expect.
Wow, that's cool.
And the reason I love that is because I know where I need to keep stuff. So if I just let it go and let it fly away and let somebody run with it, eventually that person's not going to care about it as much as me, and it's just going to fall.
Yeah, it's kind of like a whisper down the alley thing.
Exactly.
So like you might tell one person, that next person may not relate to the next person properly. So that's why you get those quality checks. So, you know, checking in with the sales guy, hey, are we communicating these things? How did this go? Like, you know, project managers, how did that go? Crew, hey, we want to make sure that we're looking for the nails, because, you know, we understand a couple of nails, it happens from time to time. But if there's excessive nails, I mean, that's just showing me you're not really.
You don't care.
You don't care. You're not looking at your job. And hey, it gets hot out there. It gets, you know, cold. Different things happen. But again, that's where it comes down to, like, we have a certain expectation, and you have that thing on your water bottle. Nobody cares. Work harder. That's the way I think. Is like, I know it's cold out. I know it's hot out. I know it got dark, but nobody cares. Like, we still need to get it done. So if that means us coming back the next day. Or saying, hey, this project might make sense for a 2-day project versus 1 day, because we want to be good stewards and we want to do a good quality job. We want to get a good review. Then hey, we're gonna make it a 2-day job. Although we could be more profitable in 1 day, but then we're leaving some loose ends open.
Yeah, it's like that intentionality aspect. You know.
Yeah.
It's very simple. You know, if you're intentional with it and you know what you need to do, you got to get it done, then you got to get it done.
Yep.
You know, that's what I love, that phrase, nobody cares, you know, nobody cares, work harder, because there's not going to be results if I don't put in the work. And it's that wrestler mentality.
Yeah.
Yeah. That person's going to beat you if you know he's worked harder than you. So I know nobody's going to work harder than me. And like, I see that all over you. Like you do that all the time with your crew and everything. So that's pretty awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, man. So, tell me about like the stuff that you give back to and why you give back to it.
Yeah, so one of the organizations that we donate to is Bloom for Women. So those are women that have been abused or sex trafficked or, just a list of different crazy things that have happened to them. One thing I was challenged on was leaving a legacy and making an impact. And, that really hit me one day, like super hard. And I was like, wow. So I try to find something that I was passionate about. I watched the thing with Tim Tebow, and he's got an organization that does that. And I would be like, man, that'd be really cool to help support something like that.
Yeah.
But a lot of his efforts are more so overseas. I think he does some stuff here locally, but more so it's overseas. And I know that there's problems here that we need to fix too. So we try to just reach out to a couple different companies that help support that.
Yeah.
So found one, and we met with them. It was really cool because they help them, and they also provide like Bible studies, and they kind of share the faith with them, not in exchange for the services, but it's there. And if they want to take advantage of it, that's cool. So they just kind of aligned with a lot of the things that we were heading towards. So I thought that was cool. And I just feel like, man, if you can't donate 1% of your revenue towards giving back, you're not doing business right.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like challenged, like, what the heck, dude? It's only 1%.
I know.
Like, it does end up being a lot, but like, dude, it's 1%. If you can just kind of just take that 1% out, put it in a savings account, never really look at it, and just write the check and just get it done. Because it's making a huge impact.
Absolutely. I mean, you're now impacting not just your company and your community with roofs, but now you're leaving an even bigger mark in the communities to who you are and what you're about.
Yeah.
So
that's one of them. And we do a couple other things, but I think that's one of the cooler ones that we do.
Yeah.
And we do a roof giveaway, so we try to find a roof.
Wow.
And not like the easy roofs, not the roofs that are like, oh yeah, that was like an easy job to give away.
Yeah.
But yeah. So we really try to find the people that are in need. So whatever that looks like, we try to give back. So last year we did a cool roof giveaway. It was a lady up in Palmerton or Slatington or somewhere out in the boonies, and they had a slate roof.
Wow.
And it was like a 1612.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and it needed all new plywood, so we hooked them up with all new plywood, all new shingles, and hooked them up, literally at no charge.
And that is nowhere near cheap at all to do.
Yeah, I think the roof, if I did the math, it was like we kind of checked it out as far as like what would this have costed? I think it was about $18,000.
Dude, that's insane.
Yeah. So obviously, like as a company, we can do that for a little bit less. But yeah, I mean, it still costs money to pay the crew.
For sure, yeah.
We're not asking the guys to donate their time. Like, hey, they work, they deserve the money. And then also the materials. We did partner up with two suppliers to help offset some of the costs, but we still paid for the material. They just hooked us up with a little bit of better price on some of the materials.
Yeah, and that's great. You're taking me into my next question was networking. Like, what is the importance of building a network, and what networks have you connected with that you've been like, oh, this is great, or man, this is great for the season, and now I need to transition. Like, how's that look like for you?
Yeah, I think it's just trying to find people that you're in alignment with.
Yeah.
So just having those conversations, and for me, I'm not really attracted to the guy that's gonna boast and talk about how many millions of dollars they do, or like how great X, Y, and Z is, but like how are they wired on the inside?
Yeah.
Things that that they don't need to talk about. Do they talk about, or are they more humble? Are they talking about other people? So I kind of use that as like a big way to do I discern like who do we work with, that try to have like a little bit more on the reserve side. Yeah. So I like people that their work kind of speaks for themselves. So not just just talking about it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Because our industry is filled with just people just talking about how cool they are. And I hope this doesn't come off in any way like that. It's just more so just want to share.
Yeah.
And if it sticks to someone, cool. If not,
yeah,
it's whatever. But yeah.
Cool, man. Very cool. Let me get my phone. I know I got a question or two on here that I wrote down. I was like, oh, bro, I got to ask these. All right. Okay, one more question that I just came up with, I thought about.
Yeah.
The team aspect. We talked about this in the car earlier, but, you know, sometimes there's a, how's it going?
Just a fireside on stuff.
It's all good.
What is one of like the core things you look for in a team member?
Yeah, they have to align with this. Do they have integrity? Do they say that they're gonna have? Are they gonna be a good steward? Is someone a positive person?
Yeah.
And are they committed to being a part of a team?
Yeah.
Because we're not looking for rock stars. We're looking for people that can get behind a behind a group and be sacrificial in a way.
And then, reason I bring up team again is because we talked about how in this industry specifically, it used to be that, you know, private equity was coming into your industry, just trying to buy businesses. But now instead of going towards the businesses, they're going towards other parts of
like the sales reps and stuff like that. Yeah, I thought that was super interesting when I heard that. But yeah, I think it comes down to making sure that you're attracting people that can't be bought. You know, there's something different about why people work here, and we want to attract the people that maybe they could go make more money somewhere else, but are they going to be treated the way that they're treated here? What just kind of how's that company operated? So yeah, I really want to attract people for my team that you can't pay them more money and then they'll leave. I want them to stay here because of something special that we have here.
Yeah.
Kind of more of that family connection, that teamwork, that bond.
That's good.
You know, because I don't know, I'm not going to sell out just because someone's offering me more money.
Yeah.
And if someone's attracted by making some more money, I mean, you're kind of helping me out because that shows that person really wasn't as loyal as I thought they were.
Yeah. It's not the person you were looking for.
Yeah, because we want to have people that are loyal.
Yeah.
Committed to the team.
For sure. Yeah. So I was talking to John, and one of the questions I asked him yesterday was like, and John's one of your sales guys, and I was like, John, what was it like last year to this year, with how many inspections you had, and the volume of inspections to now where you're at now? Because it seems like you're doing less inspections, but you're getting a bigger return. Like, how has that? Do you feel like that's affected what you guys are doing now? Is it improved, or like the quality of service? How's that?
Maybe rephrase that. I don't know if I understand the question so much.
So John, I was talking to him. I was like, hey, so what's your close ratio like now?
Yeah.
John's a slick dude, great little pitch that he can give you and, you know, talk to anybody about on a roof.
Yeah.
And I'm like, great. So how's your pitch been recently? And he's like, oh, dude, my pitch is amazing. He's like, I'm doing 2 inspections a day, and I'm more than likely going to.
Oh, you're talking about how many appointments is he running? Yeah.
Because
he's running way less appointments, but he's really building more value within them instead of doing 3 or 4 or 5.
Yeah.
In some parts of the year, he'll end up doing. We've backtracked that, so we actually limit the sales representative to only go out of there 2 appointments a day.
Wow.
Yeah, and maybe like a third one if it's like a super easy, hey, I got this little thing kind of thing. But mainly if it's a roof replacement or something like that, we really only run 2 appointments a day. That's to build the value. So like, you know, a roof is not a roof, and a roofing company is not another roofing company. So like there's some differentiators that need to be shared. And we're looking for those people that see the value in that. So we offer 3 systems so we can help accommodate like kind of really everybody that's looking for a roof replacement. But we're really looking for those people that want an experience. They don't want just a guy that's going to put a roof on and you're never going to hear from him again. Like, we want to do something a little bit different.
Wow.
Yep.
I remember him talking about that, and I was like, dang, dude.
Yeah.
I was like, so you used to bust out like 4 or 5? He's like, dude, I was crushing 4 or 5 a day. And he's like, I was back to back. And
sometimes
like when quality.
Yeah. He's doing like a little estimate, and then he's like, yep, here it is, on to the next one. So it was like, it was a little bit of just us not really knowing what that process looked like. Again, like how I told you before, I was working for another roofing company. So when I started my company, I didn't really have a huge background of how is it run. You know, anyone could be a part of a roofing process and kind of know how to do some things, but there's a lot more to it. So we had Chuck Toki come out here, and
I was about to ask you, like, any sales guys or training people?
He's come out here twice on site visits, and we meet with him periodically, and I call him up occasionally when I got a really difficult question.
Yeah.
So he's been very, very helpful, and he's kind of transformed the whole fact of how we really have done our appointments. So usually they used to be about 15 minutes to an hour tops.
Wow.
So they were pretty short. So it was like after we got everything together. So now we're kind of telling them about us, you know, giving back. You know, these are some different systems you can go with. So yeah, it's transformed a lot. So shout out to Chuck Toki. He's been a beast.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really cool. Man, I think I'm pretty tapped on questions.
Yeah, cool.
Anything you want to say about like business or life or like just things you've, you know, like these are some of the things that I was like, yeah, like the pivotal points for me as a business owner.
Yeah, I think there's no secret to success. It's just a matter about putting in the reps, putting in the work, and just getting it done. I don't know. I think there's a lot of fluff out there on the internet, and you can buy this program and you can learn it, and you'll find those things out. And maybe it's good to buy those little courses and things like that. There are some really great things that you can be a part of to kind of fast track that. But I think it's just a matter of like, hey, show up on time, put a really good roof on, take care of your crews, pay your crews, pay your suppliers, and like that's just gonna compound into success. So I don't think you really need to have like, I don't know. There's just so much fluff in the industry. It's just annoying. Everyone thinks you need a nap to help you do something else. It's just like, just do it. Just freaking do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool, bro. Appreciate the time. Thank you for doing this, and I hope that this is enlightening to someone. And I mean, if anything, it was definitely enlightening for me and helps me at least get a pick into your brain, is to feel like, you know, what's Bryson thinking and how has Bryson got from not having a company to now having a company that's at least this year, you know, projecting like what, 3 million you said?
Yeah, our goal is 3.5 million. So I think that'll be pretty easy to obtain. I think we could probably shoot over that, but
awesome.
You know, my mindset is not thinking so much about the revenue number. If we're doing like the micro little habits right, we'll get there no problem. So yeah, I'm not too worried about the revenue number. I think we'll hit it no problem. But it's mainly just taking care of people, taking care of the team, and have fun while you're doing it. Because you know, eventually I'm going to die, and I want to look back at these times and be like, yo, that was super fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, man. In the Light Roofing, thank you for joining this awesome podcast that we just did.
Yo, thanks, bro.
Absolutely, brother. Cool.